Good morning, welcome to Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni on the Train Station Fitness Show. My guests in the studio, Dr. Jeremy Webster and Dr. Kevin Light. Why? If you didn't hear the promo during the week, this is the All About You show. This is, if you're new to this, we don't have any topic because the topic is you. We've not prepared for anything other than speaking with you. Call us today with any struggles you may have had or have currently that are consistent in your life that you're unable to change in the health and fitness realm. 888-787-1310, 888-787-1310. It's toll free, so it doesn't matter where you call from. Guys, what do you find in these shows are most beneficial to you as well as the caller? I've never asked you that before, but I really want to know. Dr. Light, what do you feel in the All About You show is most beneficial to you that you learn, whether about yourself or the callers, and for the caller's benefit?
Well, for me, I think the most valuable thing that I get out of these shows is the strong nutritional message and the just do it message that goes along with that nutritional message. And Jeremy, I think, and both you and Jeremy are excellent with that. And I just, it's these intuitively obvious things that aren't that obvious. And it's a light bulb moment for me when I sit here because I look at things differently than perhaps you two do.
I like that. That's a good answer because it's where we are aware of certain things, or maybe even know something. When you hear it from you or myself, sometimes it helps to be that light bulb moment. How do you think it impacts the listener?
Well, I think when the listener perceives that there's a light bulb moment, I think that sort of includes them in the sense of community. Like, well, that's possible for me too, and wow, they're having a discussion on things that is new to even to them.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's relatable, and we're not invincible, are we? We're just like everyone else, just happen to have knowledge in our specialty, our field, where the people listening are knowledgeable about their field, and we know nothing about. Right?
Well, what's nice about this group too is we all tend to be able to admit what we don't know.
Yes,
and that's important. And
yeah.
I don't know a lot of things.
Dr. Webster.
Well, I just like getting a perspective on what the audience finds important. The first time you decided to do this show a couple years ago, I was a little nervous. I'd never done a call-in show, and I thought people were going to get up here and ask me about all these strange, remote tropical diseases, and I was going to have to admit that I have no idea what they're talking about, and I'm supposed to be the expert on the show. It was like me and you and Tina, the trainer, and I was, I was touted as the so-called medical expert, and I was supposed to be, I would have to admit that I didn't have a clue. But, when we really go through these shows, it's usually people that just want simple answers. They want to know the best type of foods to eat, the basic supplements to take, the easiest exercises they can incorporate into their lives so they can get just more fit and feel better and lose some body fat. So I don't know, just the perspective of what the real people out there find important is interesting to me.
I find for myself that I learn to tailor, and if you've listened to me for any number of years, you've heard the transformation I've gone through from the time I started 15 years ago to where I am today, that I've tailored my my ideas of what I feel is important to the customer, to the listener, which are called customer-centric needs. It's not what I feel is most important as much as it is what the audience is requiring. And you get that via email, compelling topics in the news, right? And even feedback on this show. So that's what works for me, tailoring the show to be more for the listener, to help them. And I found that the most profound impact I've been able to make, especially during the All About You show, is not the type of food that someone can eat for fat loss or muscle gain. It's not the exercise. It's rather it's helping the person to identify where they currently are, their current norm in life, and how to create a new norm. And what does that look like to you? Because when you commit the mind, the body will follow. And that seems to have worked for me throughout my life. And I have slowly integrated this into this show. About 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I had John Assaraf on the show from The Secret. Created a multi-billion-dollar company with Remax, and it was a failing office, and they made fun of him. Said, "There's no way you're going to be successful here." He said, "I'll make it $1 billion company within 2 or 3 years. I forget what it was, and they all laughed at him, and he did it. And he shares how he did that, and he talked about some of it in the DVD, the documentary, The Secret. And so we become buds, and he's been on the show, and other people have come on talking about what are the impediments in your life to you attaining your goals, whatever those are. And this just happens to be a health and fitness show. So coming up next, what I want you to do is call in not only with some of the struggles you may have had or have currently and consistently in your life when it comes to anything to do with health and fitness, but there's a new twist today, and I'll talk about this coming forward on the show. The twist is, how about those of you who have been successful and are consistently successful that have never shared your story? What I'd like for you to do today is call us, 888-787-1310, with how you became successful. What was that light bulb moment, that flick of a switch that said, it's time? And you knocked down everybody and anything that got in your way to become healthy and fit. What was that light bulb moment? I want you to share that with us as well. It's 707 Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. George DiGianni of the Train Station Fitness Show. It's the All About You show. You are the topic. I have Dr. Kevin Light and also Dr. Jeremy Webster in the studio. I would like for you to do one of two things. Call us with what is challenging you to achieve a certain health and fitness desire, fat loss, overall health, just feeling better. Maybe it's your mood. Maybe it's supplements you're taking that are not doing you any good, or you don't think they are. Are they harming you? And then if none of that applies to you, I'd like for you to call us and share your story, your success story about how you overcame a health and fitness or fat loss challenge. How has your success changed your family life, your friends? Are you more productive at work? What can you share with us, with the entire audience, that will help them to maybe have that light bulb moment that says, if they can do it, I can do it. Or, wow, I didn't think of that. I didn't consider that angle. 888-787-1310. Say it again.
The eureka moment.
The eureka moment.
Studies have shown that when you have that, when you finally realize something, your brain has this explosion of new neural connections. It's
really
neuroplasticity. That's one of the most profound expansions of neurological connectivity you could possibly have.
So, but is that, if we have old patterns we rely on, is that does that make the other synaptic connections die off or separate? I wouldn't think so.
It may not, but you're basically making a healthier brain when you can make new and stronger connections.
I just thought that happened over a period of time.
No, it happens extremely rapidly. In fact, it happens almost on a nanosecond realm. Neuroplasticity is extremely quick.
Love that. All right, so let's take a call. Let's go to Marty in Dallas. Marty, you're on the ticket. Good morning.
Hey, George. How you doing, man?
Good to hear you.
Show. Hey, three things real quick. These low-T commercials, is that just some fad? What is going on with all this low-T stuff? Number two, the 21-day cleanse. Should I quit taking regular vitamins during that period? And three, how much vitamin D is enough?
Those are great questions. So let me address mine because mine's really fast. During the cleanse, you do continue to take your multivitamin. If it's something that's a cheap multivitamin, you bought it over the counter in just regular store, and it's some of the most popular, well-known ones without me pointing any out, then I would not take those. I would change to another one that I know Dr. Webster sells. As far as D3, I take 10,000 international units, 10,000 IUs daily, and it's because I need it. So if you're a dark skinned person, you're most likely going to have problems with absorbing vitamin D from the sun, because as soon as you get a tan, your body begins to protect you and doesn't allow that vitamin D in, if you will. Dr. Webster would say, George, this person would need to test themselves for their vitamin D levels and then decide how much they need. So
I agree. At 10,000, you're probably going to be safe, and at 10,000, I've never driven a patient to excess. There's no such thing as vitamin D toxicity below about 120 on a blood test, which I've never even driven a person over 100. So it is a safe level, although it's possible to drive someone too high at that level. Just get yourself checked, and you'll know whether you need 2, 5, or 10?
Will a medical doctor know the proper levels of vitamin D if they test for it?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Well, you do. You're a medical
I
doctor,
use it all the
but
time.
I mean, if we're going to a primary care type of physician,
Many of them will.
they will. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's out there. It's not.
So are these
Okay.
low T? Go ahead.
The problem with this, though, if you have low vitamin D on your blood tests, one, they're going to look at too wide of a range. We
Yeah.
need to be 50 to 100, not 30 to 100, which is what the range will be on your lab test. Second, they're going to recommend most likely D2, and Dr. Light, you can correct me on this, but the prescription 50,000 in one shot per week type of thing is generally D2. It's not a good form of vitamin D, and it's not blended with vitamin K. This is important. You have to have vitamin K if you're going to take high-dose vitamin D. Otherwise, that calcium can go into your bloodstream, stay there, and calcify your arteries. Or you can dump it into your kidneys or into your joints. We don't want any of those things, so you have to have vitamin K2 along with D3 in proper
And
ratios.
that's valuable knowledge.
And,
Dr. Light.
and my point was that although a lot of doctors, and that's always the theme in the show, are not informed how to manage that properly, more and more are. And you're finding more educated primary care docs who can really handle vitamin D deficiencies properly, which 5 years ago even you wouldn't see that.
So Marty's first question about low T.
Yeah. He says, "What's with this low T stuff, huh?"
Yeah, is it real? Is it BS? You know, long term is going to hurt us. Come on.
Well, low T is real, and it's very effective, and that's why now there's a big market for it because there's research to back it, and there's it's highly effective, and a lot of people have low T, and so consequently the marketeers and a lot of people in the supplement business and in other healthcare industries have capitalized on that. So you can see low T now in every corner now. The problem is that identifying the right person, the right solution. You know, it's not all just pull up to your local low T center and get a shot every week. Some people just need supplements. Some people just need to get a little stress out of their lives. There's some people, no kidding, need some testosterone. So
Okay.
it's a real thing.
What I'd like to do, if you don't mind, Davey, let's go to Leah in Fort Worth. I'd like to talk with Leah next. Leah, you're on the ticket.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm well, thank you. So my question was concerning the vapor cigarettes that I've seen so many friends have success stopping normal cigarettes with. My question really is, what is in that? How does it work? And what are your thoughts?
I don't know what's in it, but here's something I am aware of, and I want you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. That nicotine supposedly isn't dangerous only once it's burned.
I don't know.
Is what they say. I don't know either.
Yeah, that's what they say. Only once you have burned it is when it becomes dangerous. And so when it's burning and you're inhaling it or burning and you get the passive smoke is when it becomes dangerous. It's my understanding, Leah, that the vapor cigarettes have nicotine in them at a small dose, but it's
Right.
not dangerous to them or the people around them. That's my understanding. Now, I have no studies to back that up. It's just I did a little research one time, and that's what I found during that research. Have you found the same thing?
Well, I haven't. In fact, there's limited documented research that I can find in truth. I guess my thought was, man, if it's only the nicotine we're talking about, you know, comparing that to a pack-a-day cigarette smoker, you know, if there's danger there, doesn't that yield a more positive result than burning the nicotine and the 2,000 to 4,000 other chemicals as well and tar anyway?
Good girl, and I love your mindset. I venture to guess that you're not a smoker, but you are maybe in the health and fitness industry yourself?
I love that. I tricked you. I'm a smoker, and I'm embarrassed
You
by
suck.
that, and I hate it. I know. Listen, I'm really.
You sound sexy, and you don't sound like Marge Simpson, and I'm very, you know, only girls who smoke sound like Marge Simpson. How did you get beyond that, Leah?
I'm working on it, actually.
How old are you?
35.
Yeah, how long have you been smoking?
Since I was like a young rebel.
How many
know?
children do you have?
I have 4 children.
You have 4 children, and do you? I'm going to ask some stupid questions. Do you love those
Yeah.
children?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, like really, if we talked about it too much, it would bring me to tears. Because,
Right. So what do you think is responsible for you continuing with a habit that is not only hurting you but hurting your family? What's more powerful than the love for your children?
Well, I don't know. The strings that the tobacco company has pulled me with for so long. I'll tell you that I bought a vapor cigarette because I had witnessed personally probably 4 close people in my life that were pack-a-day smokers.
So, Leah, I'd like for you to do a couple of things for yourself. I'd like for you to journal every single day. I want you to write a couple of things. Write down, and don't stop this. I want you to write every day 5 things that you're grateful for. It could be that you have pretty hair, that you're using vapor cigarettes now, that you're exercising, that you have a family. Write about 5 different things every day. The other thing is I want you to journal about why you believe it's more important for you to be romanced by the marketing of cigarette companies and addicted.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was just saying the effect of their product on me. You know?
Right. So what I'm trying to do is help you. You remember Dr. Webster just mentioned the eureka moment?
Okay.
You remember he mentioned that eureka moment. All of a sudden there's this light switch that goes off that makes you make a decision, for good or bad, that you're going to go all out, full force, and change something in your life, whatever that change is for you, that works for you. And I guess I'm trying to help you identify what that eureka moment will be that will make you make this difference, because I know you know this. Let's just say it out loud for a moment anyway. Children learn by example, and if they see mommy do this, then they'll know they can do it as well.
Well, and I'll be honest. So, of course, I don't smoke in the car, in the house, anything. I smoke away from them, and I don't lie to them about it either. I've got some friends that do that. But what I love right now is that they hate it so much. I don't, and I don't want to be naive either. But my hope is that they continue to hate it and would never want to introduce that into their lives.
But children learn by example, and you may get the exact opposite of that. And maybe that is what will make you make the change. I don't know. It's whatever helps you.
Okay. Well, I'll start the journal. And really, so far I've had success with the vapor. I just don't want to trade one poison for another.
I think but hold on, Leah. Let me just say this. Okay. There's something I wrote in my book 15 years ago, and I live by this today. And I surround myself with people just like this. And you guys, I want you to share this and coming up next too if you want to challenge me on this. But what's attractive to me, and I venture to guess many people, is progression, not perfection. And to give you some kudos for a moment, you have progressed away from the dangers of regular cigarettes to something that is better. And you may progress to something that's even healthier than that in your own timeline. So give yourself credit and don't beat yourself up, okay?
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Hey, thank you, Leah. So this is the All About You show. We're talking today about how you overcame a challenge where you can help someone else and say, look, this is what worked for me. This is where I am in my life today. I'm consistent with this, and this is the light bulb moment, that eureka moment that Dr. Webster mentioned. Or, I have some challenges that are so unbelievably debilitating that I've been unable to get beyond where I am in my health and fitness mindset and body, and I'd like some help with that. What is that for you? Or maybe it's as simple as I don't understand something about supplements and I need your help. Call us 888-787-1310. It's the All About You show, 727 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. The All About You show. It is about you. We have no topic because you are the topic. We've not prepared a topic, rather, because you're the topic. And we're discussing today how to change your life and maybe how you can help others change their life. What success have you gained that helped you to become consistent with your health and fitness desires? Did you lose a certain amount of fat and keep it off? And how did you do it that may be able to help someone else? What was your story you can share with us? And something that's, quite quick. We have a bunch of people on the line. Or what are the struggles that you're dealing with? Maybe there's some confusion in some articles you've read, something you've watched on TV. Somebody sent you a link to issues you've had with purchasing the wrong fish oil, let's say. Give us a call, 888-787-1310. Davey, let's go ahead and go to James in Dallas. James, you're on the ticket. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I got kind of a success story. Basically, I had a buddy in the gym who gave me the details on the paleo diet, and I actually saw him, and I was like shocked because he was shredded and ripped, and I was like, okay. So I wasn't able to get the book yet, but I basically did no sodas, no bread, no cereals, went and bought my turkey breast, blah, blah. So I've been doing that 3 weeks. Well, I went from 210, I'm down to 195. I still got my strength. The only issue I'm having is, boy, I'm hungry all the time. I'm not craving stuff. I'm just hungry. So I've come to the conclusion that bread is basically the culprit that's been getting a pass that I think is the thing that just humans that's, I don't know.
Well, bread and soda, though, James, to be fair. So your eureka moment was watching someone else that you intimately knew versus watching them on TV or hearing them on a commercial and said, wow, they did this. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, like a regular guy that, you know how you're in the gym and guys are always like, hey, I'm going to do more cardio, blah, 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 and you never do it. And then I saw him, and he said, hey, I went and got, somebody turned me on to it. He said, and he just gave me the quick details, no bread, no sodas, no cereals. And I was like, okay. So that was my eureka. And so, yeah, I'm fine, and I alternate between my turkey and chicken breast and my broccoli, and I'm not having any issues. My strength is still going up, but the weight, I mean, it dropped quick.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to let you go, James. I want you to continue to listen. I'm going to give you some really fast pointers. Why don't you literally run through bullets of what he needs to introduce more of to feel more satiated and to help him with his energy levels?
Well, he might not need to introduce anything.
Fast.
Basically, what you want high-quality proteins, which he's already doing. You want lots of high fiber vegetables like your broccoli, kale, spinach, asparagus, etc. And you just want your good healthy fats, so your avocado, your olive oil, your walnuts and coconut oil and almonds. And that's basically it. It sounds like he's pretty much on the right track. And it sounds like he's just hungry and he's needing to fuel his body and that there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're eating the right type of food.
I don't want him or anyone else who's in his position to think, oh my God, I'm just hungry all the time. And then too much time goes by, and what's the brain do? It naturally gravitates toward carbohydrates. Yeah. And if we can have those satiating foods, protein is the one macronutrient that makes you feel fullest longer, then it's going to be fat and fiber.
Yeah, they all three work. And eat all three of them at every meal.
Who do we have? Let's go to Cy in Dallas. Cy, you're on the ticket. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey, George, you won't remember me, I'm sure. But
yes, I do. The China study.
Well, yeah, but about 15 years ago, I met you over at Old Town, and you giving away T-shirts.
Okay.
And I came in, and I was, at that point, I was in my mid-late 40s, in pretty good shape because I was working out regularly. And I walked up to get my T-shirt, and you said, why are you smoking? Because you just smell the smoke all over me. I was about a 3-pack a day guy.
Wow.
Well, 4 months ago, I got on the e-cigarette. And just from a health standpoint, or body standpoint, I don't have a nose full of black crap anymore.
Wow.
And last week, I blew my nose. My snot was crystal clear.
Wow.
And I wake up in the middle of the night, and I think, I don't have an air freshener in this bedroom. I mean, it's just...
So you noticed that your senses were becoming revived.
Oh, well, my little brother came over about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he walked in the house and he said, it smells different in here. I mean, my car smells. I mean, everything, but here's the kicker. It's so much cheaper. I was spending close to $300 a month, and now I'm spending maybe $60, $65 a month, depending on equipment that I may need to buy.
So, Cy, I have a question for you, and thank you for sharing that with us. What was your light bulb moment that, after all of these years of smoking, that said, enough, I'm changing?
I told my stepfather smoked, and he used to get up, and he had tuberculosis, he was a paratrooper in World War II, yada, 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 and he had part of a lung removed. He used to wake up in the morning and hack. And I told myself, when I wake up in the morning and I'm coughing, I'm going to quit. Well, I had a guy come over to look at doing some contracting work, and I lit up a cigarette, and then he pulled out an e-cigarette. Well, then I started talking to a good friend of mine who's on them, who was smoking Camels, which is about the worst you could smoke. And he's on them. And I thought, you know, if these guys can do it, I'm going to do it. And let me tell you, I haven't looked back.
And I love that I guess, commonality, if you will, where the consensus is, if they can do it, I can do it. Not, well, they're so much stronger than me, they're more disciplined, I couldn't do that, I'm not worthy enough to look that way or feel that way. It's, if they can do it, I can do it.
Or
and I love that.
Or conversely, you have the people, I'm too busy to deal with
Right.
this, I don't have enough time. So it's not like a position of being, I can't do it, I'm incapable. It's just, I've got more important things to do.
Right.
If you've never smoked, and see, I started smoking when I was very young. I used to steal cigarettes from my mother when I was 7. And if you've never smoked, you have no idea how powerful that is over you.
Well, I did a show not too long ago, I want to say within the last year and a half or two, about how nicotine is more addictive than heroin.
Well, I'm wondering, see, I think there's more to it than just the nicotine. I think it has a lot to do with the tar and the carbon dioxide. Is that what it is?
I have to agree with
Monoxide.
you. Say it again.
Monoxide.
Carbon monoxide. I have to agree
Yeah.
with you. It's once it's burned, that's when I'm learning so much more. Once it's burned, that's when it's most dangerous to you and others
and
around.
you know what else is addictive is the ritual of smoking.
Yes.
The
Yes.
whole ritual.
You know what just gets me, Si, and you're one of these guys I'm sure I laughed at when I come into the studio or I go into any office building and it's 20 degrees out when we have those days, or it's 155 degrees out in the summer here in Dallas, and people will do anything just to get that cigarette and brave the extreme weathers just to do that, and you see them sweating profusely, but the cigarette's most important, or they're so bundled up, the only thing you see is their mouth and their nose.
Yeah.
And that's that experience, right? And you see there's like 2 or 3 people that are all congregating together and they all have the same type of things they're complaining about or whatever it is, and that's their posse.
Yeah. It's like Lawrence of Fitness used to say, you know, make a better bad choice. I don't think there's even a contest. This is such an infinitely better bad choice.
I'm proud of you, Si. Thanks for sharing that with us and sticking with us for over the years. We're going to have to let you go, and we got some more people we'll talk with coming up next. It's 7:45, the All About You show. Got a couple people on the line. If you want to talk about your success story or a challenge you have, we're going to address it coming up next. 888-787-1310. 7:53, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket, George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. My guests in the studio on the All About You show, Dr. Jeremy Webster and Dr. Kevin Light. Davey, I want to go to Danny in Plano. Danny. Oh, that's not Danny.
Yeah, it's Sammy. No problem.
Oh, it's Sammy. Dave's deaf. He's getting old, so excuse us, Sammy.
No problem. Hey, I appreciate you taking my call. Enjoy the show, fellas.
Thank you.
So I keep hearing people say, you know, they need a eureka moment, and I guess you do. But so mine happened back in 2008, prior to me joining the military, and I knew I had to be in shape, had to be fit to go do what I was going to do. And now that I've been out 2 years and just had a baby, I put on the man baby weight, if you will, about 48 pounds, and found myself back into that mode of, okay, well, there's all these fads out here. There's the 24-day challenge for Advocare. There's all kinds of different ways to lose weight fast. And, you know, bottom line is, and my eureka moment may only hit with a certain select few, but, you know, you just got to do it. I mean, when it comes down to it, there's no secret. There's no, you got to get up in the morning or make time to change your schedule and work out. You got to get onto a plan, and there's no magic pattern. And that's what a lot of my friends keep asking me, you know, how do you lose? How do you, you know, what are you doing? And it's just, I'm just going to the gym, and I'm getting myself involved. And I guess, you know, that's not that I have a problem. I'm all about people getting, you know, healthy and.
So what you're saying is when you're motivated, you'll find the answer. Right, Sammy?
Correct.
When you're motivated, you'll find the answer, and that makes sense. Because Dave, well, not Dave. I want to share with you real fast, and I won't mention any names, but there's someone I had a talk with, very good friend of mine, not too long ago. She said, George, I need your help. I need direction. I need to lose weight. And I said, okay, well, let's sit and talk. And I already knew where this was going and what would happen. I sit and listen to this person for about 15 minutes only, and I said, I can't help you. And she asked me why. I said, because you're not ready. She was pleading with me to help her. And I said, you're not ready. I'm not going to waste my time and your time, where people used to pay me $300 to sit with me. And I'm not being arrogant. I'm saying, here's a fact. To do all this and help you when you're not ready. 2 weeks later, I'll be damned, she calls me up and says, George, I'm on this plan. Let me tell you what I'm doing. And it wasn't a particular eating program. It was, I'm not drinking anymore. I am exercising. I'm getting up every morning. I'm doing this. Boom, 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 boom. Person lost 30 or 35 pounds and didn't call me once. Not one time during that process. Why? Because when you're ready, when you commit your mind, your body will follow. You will find the answers and do it. Here's the downfall. Here's the downfall, Sammy. In my opinion, my experience of training over 1,000 people over the years, is when people go 1,000 miles an hour, they're going to hit that brick wall. It's about creating balance. And if you don't create that balance, then you will fail. And I hate saying that, but in 99% of the cases I've ever seen, people fail. They have a eureka moment for a moment in time. What I want to know, and what I want you to answer, and try to do this fast, or don't do it all and say, George, I have to think about that, is what's going to keep you consistent? What are your motivating factors, Sammy, that will keep you consistent to exercise every morning, to eat, and change your life? Hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is.
So I'd like for you to do, like I mentioned to Leah a while back, and anybody, it's a great tool. Sit and write 5 things you're grateful for every day. And see if those things that you're so grateful for will have any impact in whatsoever on your life, changing your life to be better, your greatest potential, whatever that potential is for you. Do you value and nurture your relationships enough to change your life, to respect yourself, to lose 100 pounds if you need to become healthy, and create an example for yourself and your family and people surrounding you, to make a positive effect on their life? Is that enough of a priority for you? If it's not, what is? And it's not for you to answer now, Sammy. This is where we really become introspective and start writing about our lives and taking a stance, take responsibilities and make changes. But it's not about the pill. It's not about what you do. It's not about exercise. It's your commitment to yourself and your family. Okay?
Right. Appreciate the time, Bill.
Thank you, Sammy. I'd like you guys to chime in for the next couple of minutes on this. Just throw up. What do you have?
Well, what I was thinking then, a real effective technique that a lot of people use is a vision board. Okay, so they have a visual representation of their goal, whatever that is. They plant it right in the middle of whatever their life is, a room, their favorite area that they hang out in, and they look at it every day, and it visually reinforces exactly what you want to accomplish. It sort of is a visual motivator. And vision boards are the new thing you're reading about all the time. I think it's a pretty effective technique.
I have found that it's not been very effective for me. Dr. Webster, go.
Well, I just want people to do whatever they feel like they're capable of doing. I was at a conference and I actually saw Dr. Light at the same conference. So this lady was talking about what people are willing to do, and they're usually willing to do exactly what their doctor exactly the opposite of what their doctor tells them they need to do. So what the studies show is the way you're going to get results is by doing whatever you are willing to do. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do exactly what I say you should do or what I think you should do, but you have to do something. And if you find something that you will stick with, that's the only way you are actually going to get long-term results. You have to do it. I can give you the best advice in the world.
Tools.
If you don't do it, it's not going to do you any good.
Harkens back to when I wrote my book 15 years ago, 3 Minutes to a Strong Mind and Fit Body. When I was being interviewed on TV and radio shows, one lady said, George, I was kind of disappointed. 3 minutes, I thought I was going to have this exercise routine and this, and this. And I revised and updated my book recently to share much more information. But what I'm saying is, back then, is I said, look, there is no what is the best exercise or food. It's whatever you're willing to do to progress more today than you did yesterday. That's it.
Yeah, to a point.
Right? So then you will then ask for more tools versus give me all the things that it takes, and you're then going to resist it. Why? Because it doesn't align with your idea of how to get there.
Yeah, or you're just not willing to do the 10 things that I say you need to do.
Right.
Pick one of them. Pick one of
Perfect.
them that you're willing to stick with and stick with it. And then maybe a month or two from now, you'll be able to pick another one or two.
Right.
And eventually you get to that point where you're doing most of the things you need to reverse the health course that you're on.
I love this show today, and I hope it's benefited every single person listening, whether it's a caller, it's been my advice, Dr. Webster's advice, or Dr. Light's advice. Dr. Webster, if you want to get in touch with him, great at testing your hormones and deficiencies and putting you on certain supplements you might need. 972-735-0707. Dr. Light, how do we get in touch with you?
DallasHealthyAging.com.
DallasHealthyAging.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You want to get to the T-Box?
Hello, George. Hello, guys.
Good morning.
Hello.
Greg?
Hey, I got a question since you got Dr. Webster there.
All right.
So, Paul Stankowski is filling in for Craig today. Say
Paul.
hi to Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hello.
Why?
So we're talking about testosterone and all that. So last year I got a screening done by Dr. Webster, and I think my T was around 620-ish, something like that. So I go online and I'm starting to read the levels and all that. So they have average, then they have optimal, and one of the cases the guy made was how do you know what your optimum level is?
Good point.
Because the range could be, I think the 95 percentile was about 895 for a guy my age, mid-50s. So when do you know if you need to do anything or just let it go?
Well, I look at the ratio between the testosterone and the estrogen. I think that's your best indicator of whether you need more testosterone or not. You want to keep the ratio, well above 20 to 1, maybe even 80 to 1.
I think we have to put in there also one of the things that Dr. Light I always discuss, and I know you're aware of this as well, is results. So if you're playing with it and it works for you and you find that the symptoms are now not symptoms anymore that you were experiencing, which Rick, you're not, but if you're experiencing these symptoms and now you're healthy, not necessarily through blood work only, but through your sleep patterns, your energy throughout the day, cravings, and so on and so on and so on, and lipid profile. And so that's then another indicator. It's not just one indicator of, well, this is what the government or certain doctors say that the ratios need to be.
But if you're trying to ramp up to your optimum level, and I think everybody gets kind of used to where they're at, and they don't know any better, right?
Well,
Because unless, as long as you're not feeling really lethargic over the last 3 months or something like that, and you're just kind of moseying along, and you're still working out and doing all this stuff, but you don't really know what that best case scenario is, right?
Okay.
And well, the bottom line is, you don't chase numbers. You want anything.
Okay.
The basic number that a lot of us in this industry use is anything over 475 is good. Anything under 475 needs to be addressed. Now, what's your magic number? Everybody talks about 800, 900. Your number is what works for you and what takes away your symptoms. And so we don't chase numbers. And everybody has a different number and a different set point. And there's so many variables that you can't dial in a number and say that's me.
You have to do what works for you. Don't go by
And
the
it's all basically symptom and like George said, result driven. And once you get there, whether that's a 500 or 1,000, whatever that is, that's where you are.
And I think
Okay,
if you
so
find
say
a
everything
doctor,
being-
Rick, I just want to say this real fast. If you have a doctor or a professional that tells you it has to be this way, then I would look for a different professional.
Right, but everything is relative too. So when you read stuff and the guys in their mid-50s and guys that said they start going on a program, all of a sudden they say they feel like they're in their 30s, late 20s, or something like that. Is that
Because of what worked for them.
Right.
Well, their levels may be way too high for you, and you may be now symptomatic because of having a level that worked for them, and that may be dangerous for you.
And maybe
There's a range.
Maybe just looking at testosterone's oversimplifying things too much, and it certainly is, because you need to look at how much estrogen you have versus the testosterone. You need to see how much testosterone is being bound up versus how much is free, meaning it can actually do something in your body. You need to look at how it's responding to the cells in your body. You need to also look at your thyroid and your adrenals and other things that are driving your basic metabolism that are going to work in conjunction with the thyroid, or excuse me, with the testosterone. So there's just so many other factors. I mean, your insulin. If you're insulin resistant, that testosterone is not going to work in your body, even if you have decent levels. There's way too many factors to say it just needs to be testosterone needs to be to this certain level.
You know what's unfortunate is when someone sees, when I used to be big and people would always come up and say, not always, but I would often get, well, how much can you lift? What did they mean, guys? Which exercise?
Bench.
Bench. It's always about bench. How much can you lift? Not how much can you curl or squat or triceps. And I find that it's the same thing when somebody addresses hormones. When you talk about hormones, right away someone starts thinking of testosterone. But when no one's considering insulin, thyroid, there's so many other hormones that have this cascade of events that have to happen to create balance. Right?
Yeah, if you're insulin resistant, your testosterone doesn't work properly. It's as simple as that. So it's not necessarily, in some cases, it's not about addressing testosterone. It could be about addressing your insulin resistance.
Can I give you can we give you a picture real fast, Rick, of insulin resistance?
Okay.
A picture. Give it 2 or 3 examples of what people look like.
Eat too much sugar, you start to get fat and you're sluggish.
Okay, so if you're fat and sluggish, have trouble with sleeping, and
too much carbs,
too many carbohydrates, but what it looks like is actually having too much fat. And when you have too much fat, you become insulin resistant. When you become insulin resistant and you look that way, you already have an issue with balanced hormones, blanketing hormones, not just
all
testosterone,
hormones.
or all hormones.
Makes sense.
So people
Yeah,
can have that picture.
All right. That's
And
good.
you look
That's good.
great, Rick. You have great blood work. You're asymptomatic. You look great. And you put all that together, you're not a candidate.
All right. Well, you're always trying to ramp up to find out what your optimal point is. Just if nothing else, out of curiosity, I think.
Hey, here's my 15-second how to easily boost your testosterone levels by lowering your estrogen. Eliminate soy, reduce alcohol, increase your green vegetables, so you increase a process called methylation. Get rid of your scented candles and plug-ins, and avoid pesticides. So detox.
I'll tell my wife that.
Those things will all reduce your estrogen, therefore increase your testosterone.
And detox.
What were you going to say, Paul?
I was just saying that one of the doctors, I'm not sure if Webster or Light, was mentioning the anything above 475 would be optimal, and below 475. We're tested out there on the tour, and I'm sure as every sport is, and in order to even be considered to be a candidate to supplement with testosterone, you have to be in the 200s. So golf, professional sports is actually bad for your health, I guess, if you're low T, because you got to be ultra low.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or you can do like the people who want to get lap band, where you have to weigh a certain amount over your weight to qualify for it. Where they eat a whole lot so they can qualify.
Right.
You can do something to your hormones so that you wind up going in the corner, sucking your thumb like a baby, and crying at every little commercial, and make yourself qualify.
Yeah, drink 3 gallons of soy milk a day, and you might qualify for testosterone treatment.